All right, Coach, getting into the home stretch of the season, obviously, and your team's still well within the hunt of the eighth and final spot in the PBC tournament. You hold on to it pending USC or Young Harris's game later tonight. How do you think that's starting to get into the minds of the women on your team that the playoff hunt is starting to really take shape?
We try not to worry about anybody else and just take care of what we can control. And it starts with Wednesday night against Aiken, just being prepared to play and playing our best. So that's what we're worried about. What's ahead of us.
And then talking about Aiken, a team that you fared fairly well against just earlier this season when you went down to South Carolina. How do you feel round two is going to shake out?
They really struggled offensively the first half. They really didn't struggle offensively the second half, scored 40 points against us. Part of it was off our turnovers. We made some turnovers that led to some transition baskets. They hit some shots. I just think we've got to be really solid. This league is a league where I think anybody can compete with anybody. As you saw, I guess last Wednesday, where Young Harris had a 5-point lead against North Georgia in the last 2 minutes of the game and lost the game. So, we go down to Augusta, who I think Augusta's a very good team, and lose down there. I just think there's, you've got to play every night, and we've got to be prepared to play and play well, and on both ends of the floor.
I'm talking about both ends of the floor. How about the rebounding? Last time you faced off against USC Aiken, you held one of their top rebounders in Star Toomey to only 7, and you out-rebounded them by double digits. Do you think it'll be a similar showing this time around?
Well, I hope so. They don't play a lot of size, which on the defensive end makes it an issue for us, because if we're playing a 5, they play without a lot of 5s. Toomey is an athletic kid that runs around and sets ball screens and rolls to the basket, either for the offensive rebound or a pick and roll type situation, or even slipping some ball screens. So it's tough. You got to kind of stay up with her, and then when you get caught in switches, there's some mismatches with Toomey going to the post. So we've just got to do a good job of making sure we can stay with people. We handle the ball screening situations. We keep the ball in front of us and hopefully contest threes pretty well.
And how about some of the adjustments you've made when it comes to the starting 5 and then the levels of women coming off of the bench? Do you think that might throw USC Aiken off a little bit?
Well, I don't know. We just, we kind of change our lineup a little bit depending on how kids are playing. And sometimes it's matchups. Yesterday we started Brandy some. We started Aaliyah, I think, against Young Harris. We came back and started Brandy yesterday against North Georgia because of size and matchups. So sometimes it's matchups. Sometimes it's kids playing well. Sometimes we think kids will give us a lift off the bench in terms of energy and that type of thing. So, we kind of change it up a little bit. We've had, I think, T and Alicia and probably Nala have started most of the year, and those other 2 spots we've kind of rotated in and out.
All right, Coach. Well, we'll see what the starting 5 rolls around when Aiken comes to town, but good luck on Wednesday.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, still reeling a little bit after last night's fantastic victory. Do you think, considering that it was the only game in conference play, that it might have put a little bit of fear in the other teams in the conference with how much you gave it to North Georgia?
I don't know. I doubt that. I mean, we did some good things, especially the first half. Shot it well, and it was one of those days. But every game's a new challenge.
How about Nigel Grant's performance again, picking up the career high just on Wednesday against Augusta, and then, of course, the quality weekend against Young Harris and North Georgia, and then the PBC Player of the Week honors that was just announced. Have you been?
I didn't know that.
There you go, breaking news for...
Congrats to Nigel.
Well, how do you feel his performance has been going?
Well, he's had a very good senior year. He worked extremely hard this offseason to get in better shape. He had a really good junior year, obviously, too, but he's in great shape. He can play longer stretches without getting fatigued, and where his production doesn't drop, in terms of just running and rebounding. And, probably his biggest improvement is rebounding statistics. So we're pleased with how he's playing.
And then looking ahead to Wednesday against USC Aiken, before the game against North Georgia just yesterday evening, that was the team you put up the most points up against in a single half with that 56 mark you guys had in the first half on the road in Aiken. What are your thoughts going to be for the second meeting?
Well, we're just back to looking at film, and that was obviously a few weeks ago. So teams continue to change and evolve over the course of the season. They're a very talented team. Coach Slice, as we call him, does an excellent job. So be a great test. The home crowd's been really good to us, so it's been nice to have some home games. But we're looking forward to the challenge.
They'll be playing later tonight, USC Aiken will be. Is there anything specific that you and your coaching staff are going to be watching for in that game?
Same stuff we always do. I mean, we got since we've already played them, we got a pretty good feel on personnel, some of the things they try to do offensively and defensively. But getting back to the season, teams don't stay the same; they change, and they don't change dramatically. They still have the same group of guys and system, but we'll be watching film and paying attention to that game to do the best we can in preparation.
And then last, Coach, with the win last night, your team secured a top 2 finish in the Peach Belt Conference, and of course, at the very least, a home game in the quarterfinals of the Peach Belt Conference tournament. What's your usual go-to to keep your team motivated down the home stretch to make sure that they lock up that top spot?
Well, they've done a good job of being focused on the next step, whatever that might be. It might be practice or film session today, game Wednesday. So, just trying to not look too far ahead or behind. You just got to be in the moment.
All right, Coach. Well, again, congrats on last night, and we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday.
Thank you.